Okay, by this time you're married. You got a kid. You're surrounded by family. You're working a good job, I assume. How is it you find yourself now living in the States?
In the States?
Where did that separation come in? What was the motivating factor behind that? And how did you deal with the separation?
Well, let me start with this. My mother was there. I was young, and me and my wife was young. We young family, get married family, and I started having children. And my mother was not working, and they wasn't really getting along well. So my wife was working too, and my mother was home, wasn't doing anything. Well, she didn't want to cook or anything like that, and she wanted my wife to come home, work, and come home and cook for everybody and take everybody. And they were complaining to each other, complaining to me, and none of them wanted me to say anything to each other. I don't know if you have experienced this, but
I'm not going to put myself out there right now, but I know what you're talking about.
yeah, but you're in the middle of it. You come home, you're tired. My wife complained to me about what my mother said to her, but don't say nothing to your mother. Okay? Don't confront her about it. Then my mother took me aside and complained to my wife, but don't tell her. Don't say nothing to her. So I'm in the middle of it. Okay.
I got you in a hard spot.
Yeah, the hard spot. So I decided that we was gonna move out of the house. We was gonna move out and we were gonna live by ourselves until I gave the house over to my mother. And then, not only that, but she was taking care of babysitting Lou children and babysitting Jacob's children. And then by that time,
Charles?
Yeah, Charles, and Betty was on the way.
Mm-hmm.
So, we decided to move into Freeport, in the Freeport area, and gave the house to my mother. And I told when I was about, I couldn't bring myself to tell her that I was going to move right away. So I waited until the time when I got the apartment and everything has been ready to move, and I told her, well, this is what we're going to do. We're going to leave the house. We're going to let you have the house. And she could have feed anybody she wanted to feed, because she wasn't working. Now we had to take care of her anyway. But I couldn't take care of all those people, I had a young family, and, I couldn't do it. So I decided that I was just going to move and let her stay in the house. She didn't have to pay no rent or anything like that. And with the hope that all those folks would get out on their own. Okay.
Okay, so your separation was a necessary situation.
Yes.
That's what happened.
Uh-huh.
And how did you end up
Go ahead.
separating yourself from moving out of the house into somewhere else to moving and leaving the country completely?
Well, after I got to living in Freeport, I had changed jobs. And became an insurance agent, and that wasn't working out very well. And I was looking for, and I had a little experience with construction before, and I had went to. My uncle had died, Uncle Hobby, the Hobby's father, and I had to go. His request was that he didn't want to be buried in Nassau or in the army. He wanted to be buried at home. So we had to get him, through the body. I had to go to Nassau and take a hold of the body, and we ran a plane and we took him back home to be buried. And while I was home, I met some of the friends that was visiting from the United States. say that they was in construction and they would need people. So that kind of pricked my head, got my attention. And so, well, when I got home back to Grand Bahama, I said, well, this is a good time for me to, make a move. I wanted to come to the United States anyway.
The timing was right, the situation was right,
Yeah,
opportunity was there.
yeah. And I met a friend, he was also family. His name was David Hanfield. We got him hired at the insurance company, and he wasn't doing well. So he said he wanted to go to the United States too. He met the same guy the same friend that I met, and we decided that we're gonna take him up on his offer. So I thought he was in Philadelphia, was working in Philadelphia. So I said, well, it was a good time for me to make my move. So I told the wife. She said it was a bad idea, and she didn't agree with me right away. But the Forbes are hot-headed, determined people anyway. Or the homeless, or what you could call it. The Forbes homeless mixed together. And so I made up my mind that I was going to go. I told the wife, and she didn't agree with it, but she said, all right, after that. And I left her for about, I came first, me and David, my friend David.
Hanfield?
Hanfield, yeah. We caught the bus and went to Philadelphia. Because most of the friends from home, or from Bowle Creek, was in Philadelphia, was living in Philadelphia. And we stayed with one of them for about a week or two, and then we got the job that the guy was promised us. And I was in New Jersey. I stayed in New Jersey for, 17 years. 17 years doing construction.
Now, I know when you left Turks and Caicos, and you moved to the Bahamas. I mean, basically back in the day, it was almost the same thing, right? But when you left Grand Bahama and you went to a totally different country, totally different region, was there any nerves involved? Did you ever second guess yourself?
Yes. Well, I had several second guesses. Because when I started working, well, come to find out the jobs that he had was in New Jersey, which, the bridge, one was a bridge between Philadelphia and Camden. And I believe he was working in Philadelphia, in New Jersey. So I didn't like Philadelphia. So since the jobs was over in New Jersey, which was more suburban area, I liked New Jersey better. So I moved over to New Jersey because I moved to New Jersey, closer to the job.
At this time, your family's there with you?
No, my family wasn't there with me. I left my family there for 6 months. For 6 months while I was working, and then they came a little later. No, when my wife came, I got my wife over, and then I left the children with my mother, and they was there for about 3 years from that time, and then I managed to get them over. But that's how I got in New Jersey, because all the jobs was in New Jersey. And the week when I started working, and that was in the month of November of that year, it snowed, and I never saw snow before, or never experienced that before. And it was cold. So that was something I had to adjust myself to. Because in the Bahamas and all those islands, they have tropical weather. And the coldest thing that I ever experienced was when we were living in Grand Bahama. They had a little cold front that took over Miami, and Grand Bahama is close to Miami, and that cold front came over the Bahamas, too, Grand Bahama too, and the fish and the prawns died, and that's the coldest thing that
Wow.
we ever experienced. So
Wow.
I wasn't used to that, but I adjusted very well with that. I come to like the cold and hate the heat.
Is the cold what ran you down to Texas?
hmm Yeah, 'cause I was doing so much work in New Jersey. In New Jersey, we had to, it gets down to 17 degrees sometimes, 8 degrees. I think a couple of times it got below zero. And
Been there?
you get that 6 inches, 12 inches of snow on the ground, and then we were still working in it.
It's crazy.
And my body started to feel the cold. And by that time, me and my wife, my first wife, had got divorced. Separated, divorced. And then, a couple of years later, I got married again.
Why? That's something for another time.